It's a holy building. It's
very holy.
But then when he finally went and did it, it took 15 minutes. And then he was mad about all the time that he had been angry.
The parable of the coat hook. So Nana had some spare gutter that she wasn't going to be using. So she let us have it. So I figured now is as good a time as any to get some water systems on the side of our barn, some rain collection systems on the side of our barn, or at least one rain collection system started. No worries.
Hang on. I just gotta get a figured out spot. I'm swirling about it. Let me do this.
If you can't get it, it's no worries.
That helps. Surely. Maybe not perfect, but definitely better than what we had.
All right, now let me know when it's lined up. All right, I'm gonna pin up the other side.
You want totally on this side.
You go chase it down? No, I just want to pin this in. Okay, let's drop it.
I was thinking you were. Sweet.
Thank you so much. Now I'm gonna go through and fine tune it.
Kenny, you're too high up.
Look at you.
Kenny, we need to get down, okay? Come on, baby.
Now let me back up just a little bit. The first year we moved here, maybe it was the second year, I'm pretty sure it was the first year that we moved here, we noticed that we had a pretty bad flooding problem. The gutters, the downspouts would go here. This downspout would kind of come out here into the yard, and that downspout would kind of come out here next to this patio area. And as you can, maybe you can kind of see, but we're on a slope. So the water would all kind of rush back down towards this covered patio area here and end up flooding our crawl space. It was bad enough to where, you know, short of installing a French drain, which is something I would like to do within the next year, we decided, hey, let's collect some of that water, not only as a flood mitigation effort, but also as a way to save water and potentially reuse this water for our garden, our animals. And on the first point, it's been good because this setup, it's ugly right now, but it has, and I need to clean these barrels, but it has really cut down on that flooding issue significantly. There is still some flooding issues that we get in heavy rains, but by and large during light rains or medium rains, we don't get any flooding in the crawl space. So that's been good. But in terms of watering the garden, this is uphill. I wasn't thinking the physics completely through, but because the garden is uphill, plugging in a hose on those buckets and watering the garden directly isn't really an option. So we'd use those water barrels to fill up these things right here. So we had a whole bunch of these. Look at that slug. We had a whole bunch of these. We'd fill them up with water from the rain barrels and use that to water our garden. But as the size of our garden, that didn't really make sense with the scale to fill up one bucket after another and do this. It was so much easier to plug in the hose and water it that way. So that got me to thinking, there's nothing stopping me from collecting more rain. We've never had gutters on these barns. And when it rains, it's just a waterfall off of all of the roofs, especially this roof. So I think what I'd like to do is put a new set of rain barrels here. 2, maybe 3. I'll probably get the blue rain barrels, the food grade ones, because the lesson I've learned with those white ones is that they pick up algae very easily. So with the blue ones, the algae problem won't be as bad. And I'll get maybe 2 or 3, and the garden is slightly downhill from where they'd be positioned. So I can plug in the rain barrels, or I can plug a hose into the rain barrels and easily water the garden with that. Probably also use that water to give to all the birds that I have. And if we get pigs again, getting the pigs water as well. So getting this gutter up was the first step in that. I need to get a downspout, and then obviously the barrels. That's my next step in this project. The actual gutter itself was a little bit challenging, especially right here where the gutter was kind of bent. And getting the end cap on, I had to cut a new spot. I was slightly off. Do you see that? You see where the roof hangs over just a tiny bit? I was off by maybe 1.5 inches, but that's okay. It's not that big of a deal. But the end cap, the caulk that I used, I don't know if it was old or what, but it didn't dry completely. So I'm going to have to go up there and fiddle with this end cap again a little bit more and probably put more caulk on there to just make sure that that's sealed off properly. But otherwise, testing it out this morning. We got a light rain this morning, and all of the rain, if there's a sufficient enough slope to bring the rain down to the downspout. And I tried a little bit of a heavier test with the hose, and same thing. It worked where I wanted to. The water is flowing in the right direction. You have to set, as anyone that's hung gutters knows, you have to set them off on a very, very slight angle so they'll go in the direction of the downspouts. So it was successful. So next step, downspout and rain barrels, probably within the next week or two. How many turkeys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All of our turkeys are accounted for. The turkey that was gone for a few days, who came back after a few days missing, she's still got a little bit of a limp. I don't know what happened to her out there in the wild world, but she's back with us. So what did we accomplish this week? What did you accomplish this week, Dad?
Well, we finished up. I think I'm trying to remember where we were with the last video. That window, that door, I think they were set.
Yes.
Everything was cut out and ready to go. Framed up this doorway here.
Nice.
One thing I found out, it's interesting because there were these vertical boards that, the studs that were plumb. After we jacked up the back end of the shed, everything was looking pretty good. But when it came time to frame out this door, not so much over here in the corner. I mean, you can see in order to make this plumb,
Yep.
I really had to, I mean, that's a huge difference in terms of where it was and where it needed
You
to
can
be.
see the angle.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's just due to years of settling.
Maybe. It's interesting because, if you put the level on the floor, we got it pretty level. But yeah, maybe just some of these boards were twisted over time. In any case, got that framed out, and this window framed out, cut the openings. Right now I've just got a tarp,
tarp,
protecting. We've had a little bit of rain. And bought some siding.
Yes.
Not all of it, but most of it.
And you painted it. That'll go on after the wrap. So the next stop is wrapping
Yeah.
the structure.
As you and I were talking about a moment ago, I think what I'll do, I don't know for sure, but I think what I'll do is just kind of approach this particular shed first and get it wrapped first and get it sheathed.
Yep.
And then once that's done, work on the other side and then take it from there. So
The other side should be pretty easy.
Yeah.
I wonder if are you gonna wrap the door over there?
Yeah, that's why I hesitate a little bit because the door, I think I'll probably wrap it and then just put some of the new sheathing, the new siding, just kind of overlay it because the door is in decent shape It's a little bit off kilter, so I'd have to make some adjustments, but probably use that existing door and just put some new siding after it's been wrapped on that. So
Cool. So that's pretty clear cut in terms of what's next. But there is a question that you're facing, and I haven't spoken with you about this in a few days. And that's what you're going to be doing in here, whether you're going to create a loft.
Oh, right, yeah.
You had talked about putting a loft up here,
Mm-hmm.
and sistering out, 2x6s on some of these studs, having those bear the load of the loft space. What's the latest on your thinking about?
Yeah, so there was one video in particular, I can't remember the name of the page, but where he used 2x4s actually to sister out, but then 2x6s. His shed, he was doing something similar, was actually 12 feet in width, where this one is under 10. It's 9 feet something.
Okay.
But with each of these studs, you put another kind of sister stud where you can lay a 2x6 on each stud, and then put a sheet of plywood on top. And then you can put a mattress up there, or do whatever you want.
Yes.
In the loft. There's not a ton of room. That's the one thing I'm struggling with, is do I have enough room,
Enough space.
to do that? I mean, it would be kind of ideal, because then underneath, I could put maybe like a futon or something. It doesn't have to be a traditional bunk bed. But anyway, I'm just kind of thinking through those things. It'll be interesting to get some.
Yeah, we'd love,
feedback.
if anyone has any ideas. That's something that is up in the air, whether or not there should be a loft space up here.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. In the meantime, you got all these holes cut.
Yep.
And it's looking good. It's a holy building. it's
very holy.
For now, after the sheathing is on and the siding is on, then we're gonna obviously put these windows in, and then put the doors, and all these holes. We won't need to cover up the holes with the tarp anymore.
Just from the videos that I've watched, and we've talked about this before, this is all new to me. I haven't done this kind of thing in the past, so most of it is just leaning on the experiences of other people.
YouTube University.
Yeah. What I've seen most people do is, after the wrap is done, that's when you put in your windows and doors, before the sheathing, before the siding goes up. So that's, I think, going to be the approach. So wrap, windows, doors, siding.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Dan.
You bet.
Do you want to do the honors? Hang in the first.
Sure, you might.
Wow.
I'm excited.
Whoa.
Yay!
Look at that. Where's my coat? Where's Dad's coat?
I can put that there and that on top. Is that okay?
Yeah. Holly, it's been 4 years since we've moved here. And we're just now putting up a
we've
coat
put
rack
off
in
this
our mudroom.
project. We've put off this project because we thought it was going to take too long. Well, I thought, oh, let's do beadboard, let's do wainscoting, let's make it this whole thing, and I thought it was going to take so long, so we kept putting it off. But this took us a short trip to Lowe's, and we got it done during Henry's nap. So
Henry's napping right now,
Took a lot.
and it was maybe an hour of work
Maybe
period,
so.
maybe even less.
You know, that reminds me of something that I think about often. It's like, I heard this story once, I call it the parable of the window. This guy had a broken window leading down to his basement, and he looked at it every single day, and it bothered him. And he avoided fixing it for years, even though it was a safety risk, because he was just like, oh, it's going to take hours. I don't want to do it. But then when he finally went and did it, it took 15 minutes. And then he was mad about all the time that he had been angry over years and years
he
and
had
years.
wasted years of his life
Years of
when
being
all it would
angry.
take is 15 minutes.
Right, and so that this feels like that to me.
The parable of the coat hook. There's this one hanging over the light fixture,
That's for hats.
which we'll use for hats.
Where's your hat?
There should be a hat in there.
There we go.
All right. It's about time.
Glad we did it.
Lots of little projects put together equal big progress. But you already know that because of the motto of this channel. So thanks for hanging out with us. And until we see you again next time, remember, as always, slowly, slowly.